There's so many things we can do with a mutable list or list in general. We can invoke certain methods on them. So we looked at this remove at, so we pass in the index 0, so it's going to be removing the item at index 0. Okay, so the other thing we can do is we can say mutable or my mutable list. Either list would work, and I can say, for instance, let's go here and actually print, right? I'm going to say something like number of elements. It's going to be equal to my mutable list, number list in this case, doesn't matter which really, and I'm going to say size. Okay, this is the size of this mutable list at this point. If you run, you can see number of elements is 434, and that is not correct. That's because I have to say println, so I can break the line. Should be 4. There we go. Number of elements is indeed 4 because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say we want to get, we've seen this before, let's say we want to get first or second or the fourth element. First of all, let's get rid of this so we don't add. Now, if I run this, this result is going to change. Why? Because we've removed that one item, right? And earlier we were adding something, which this would have made this to have about 5 elements. And so we removed one, that then becomes 4. But since we're not adding anything, we're just removing from the original list, then of course we're going to have 3. All right, so let's see what else I want to do. Let's say I want to get the second element. What do we do? Well, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to say, let's say second element. What we do is we say mutable, and we can use the get method here. You can see right away it says get. We need to pass an index, which is type int, right? So what is the index for the second element? Well, we know the first index is going to be 0. So the second element is going to be at 1, index 1. So I say 1 like this, and we should get, run, second element. In this case, let's say println, it's 45. Is that true? Right, it is true because remember we remove this first element, right? So now we're going to have 0, 1. If I remove that, we should have 34. Second element is indeed 34. As you can see here, we have a little complaint that says replace get call with indexing operator. What is this? Well, let's see. So if I right click there and say show, I'm going to click the replace call with index operator like that. This also works. So there are 2 ways to get values using indices. It seems like Kotlin, in this case, in our Android Studio, it likes this way, which is to add the square brackets and say, and put in the index number. Either way works. Now let's say we want to get the index of element, let's say element 2. How do we do that? Well, we can do something like this. We can say something like index of element, and I can break the line to say, I want to say 2, for instance. Escape, that is, not break. What we're doing here is that we're breaking to say that we want this 2 to be inside of parentheses when it's printed. But because we're inside of a string as we do this, and we are concatenating or we're interpolating, if we were to add just the double quotes just normally, that wouldn't work. So we have to say backslash to break to say that whatever it's inside here, these quotes will have to actually appear inside as quotes. So in the index of element 2, in this case 0, 1, 2, it's going to be 45. We can just go ahead and say mutable size. There's a method we can call or function, say dot. We can say index of, pass the element. Element in this case is going to be 45. So we're going to get the actual index. Is that true? Let's run this. And voila. So it says here index of element 2 is 2. So 0, 1, 2. Right? Actually, that's element 45, not 2. My bad. And there we go. And there you have it. So go ahead and explore more if you would like to. And the way I like to do this, if you just start typing my mutable list and start dot, you can see there's a lot of methods that we can actually go and start to explore. For instance, there is the add we've seen before. We can add something to a specific index. We can remove, we've seen that. We can also access by passing index and then get the element on that index. We can use a replace and so many others. So go ahead and play around with this concept and see other methods you can call on your list.